Class is now open. Hey, this is going to be about a GFI electrical outlet in the kitchen and whether or not it protects other outlets in the kitchen. And the other day I was playing around with my camera. What's that? I was playing around with my my camera with some old videos, and I was talking about relocating a garbage disposal switch for that, because initially the garbage disposal switch was over here, the light switch was over here, and so I made an entire video about moving this switch over to here, and the garbage disposal switch from here over to here, and the light switch from here over to there. Because one of my pet peeves is when I'm at a kitchen sink, the closest switch should be, in my eyes, should be the garbage disposal, and it wasn't. And so I made an entire video series on that, and there was also 3 circuits in here. One for the light switch, one for the garbage disposal, one for an electrical outlet, and the electrical outlet did not have a GFI outlet here, and it didn't have a piece of tape. Usually if they're protected, there'll be a little piece of tape here that says this outlet protected by GFCI and that kind of thing. And so there was 2 plugs here. This one does not have a GFI there either. And I had found it over here, and I went through the whole thing, tested that out, pressed that, found out that this electrical GFI was covering those 2 electrical outlets. And I thought that those probably should protect the island here as well. I had a outlet here. See, there's a plug there, and there's no tag on that one either, is there? And then there was another one over here. This one did not have a tag. So I was like, okay, should this GFI over here, press the test button, that's out. And you see here, this one is still on, isn't it? And this, I determined, did not cover that. And so I was thinking, okay, there's an electrical outlet. Here's a garbage disposal. The garbage disposal switch is here. Okay, and I thought maybe they put the GFI down here. And I looked down here where they've got this plugged in. I can't even see the, oh, there it is down there. You see that? There's no GFI down there. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to go through the effort, and I knew I was gonna want to make a video on replacing one of these electrical outlets with the GFI, and then wire it in such a fashion where one GFI would protect this one, would also protect that one over there, and it could also protect the garbage disposal switch, okay, with this plug down here, if all of those 3 were on the same circuit. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do that. And a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, wait a second. I was sitting over here. I was sitting over here when I was making those videos, when I was watching them, and I looked over here, and when I saw it, my heart sunk. See, there's an electrical outlet right there behind the coffee pot. It's not plugged into that GFI, is it? And I thought, you know what? I'll bet you there's another GFI there. Now move this along. Sure enough, look at that. See there? Now, I have not checked this before, and I'm checking it out with you right now. It's like, why on earth would they have 2 GFIs so close to each other? Why didn't they just connect this one over to that as well as these 2? Well, here's something that you need to understand in a kitchen. These electrical outlets are on a 20 amp circuit, okay? A circuit breaker, and there's only so much power that you want on a circuit like that in the kitchen, because you might have a blender on there, you might have your coffee pot there, you might have a stove top burner thing plugged into that, you might have a rice cooker plugged into that, you might have all kinds of different things plugged into here, and you don't want to overload a circuit, okay, when you're in the kitchen. And that's, first off, that's why they make them a 20 amp breaker instead of a 15 amp breaker, and they got 12 gauge wire to these outlets instead of 14 gauge wire. Most electrical outlets in your walls and stuff are 15 amp circuit breaker, like this over here, and other ones are along the walls, you know, in bedrooms and in living room, dining rooms, whatever. And that's because you're not going to have all kinds of motors plugged into all those things. So you can add more plugs, more electrical outlets on a circuit on that. But in the kitchen, you don't want to do that. You only want to have a certain amount of electrical outlets connected in a kitchen. Does that all make sense so far? So, if that makes sense, this could be a standalone one on its own separate circuit just for that. But generally, they don't do that in a kitchen. Usually, they'll have more electrical outlets connected. So because these two are so close, we know this one not only controls that electrical outlet, it also controls this one, and it controls that one. There's 3. Okay, where do you suppose there's some other electrical outlets in the kitchen? Yeah, this island. This is part of the kitchen. So I'll bet you money, dogs to donuts, I don't even know if there's a saying like that, I'll bet you that electrical outlet right here and the one over here are connected, boom, kaboom, to that electrical GFI. Now, I have never tested it. You're going to be the first one, and I'm kind of curious if that also controls this. We'll soon find out, won't we? Okay, so I'm going to put this in test mode, and usually there's 2 buttons, usually a red button, a black button. Sometimes these are white buttons too. One is a test, and that bottom one, you can see, I can see it says test. You see that? Ah, come on. I just thought I saw it. Does it say test? There's not enough light in here, but it does. It does say test at the very, very bottom of that. It says test. Okay, and the bottom and the top one is the reset button, and it should say reset on there. So if you shine a flashlight on there, you will see that it says test down here, reset up there. Okay, so I'm going to press that. That should pop out. Okay, it did pop out, and I know that if I plug this coffee pot in, I should not get a light on here at all. Okay, let's just test that to make sure. Let's see here. See, the on has the red little light on. See there? See? Okay, now we'll put it in test mode. That pops out. The on light is still on, nothing, okay? Wanted to show you that. Now I'm going to go over, I have not looked over here yet, and I am going to wager that these other lights are off. I'm going to be shocked if this electrical outlet over here and this electrical outlet over here are still on. And that's why I have my tester out here. I've got my tester on for that electrical outlet because we know this one here had a green light on it. Look at that. Look at that. There's no green light now. I go over to here, press this, back on. That light is on. You see there? I should turn that off, as a matter of fact. Okay. And this light is on. Look at that. You see that? And so I'm going to just put that into test mode again. The lights went off. Okay? Now, the light is probably, the electrical outlet is probably off right here. I'm going to test that. Look at that. There is nothing, no light on here. And just for kicks, I'll turn this back on. so you can see my tester is in fact working, okay? It's kind of hard to see because it's light in here. See there? It is on. Off, on, off, on. That little red light is on now. Okay? On right there. And now I'm going to turn that back off. It could be the fact that this wire goes up into the ceiling and a mouse or rat got up in the ceiling, chewed a wire, or in a junction box up here. There could be a junction box up here with a loose wire nut, and that might be connected to a GFI electrical outlet somewhere else, and then it could come over to here and not work this now. Okay, so there's lots of things that could be happening here, and so a troubleshooting I will go to figure this out, but I'm not gonna make it included in this video. I think my time is done. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos, and I hope you learned something important about protecting yourself when it comes to GFI electrical outlets, where they should be located, how to set them, and all of that good stuff. All right, see you next time.